Hi there, I'm Akshay. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Spine AI. Spine is an infinite canvas of intelligent blocks that turns strategy into a full suite of shippable artifacts in minutes. We replace linear chat, allowing you to orchestrate 300 plus AI agents to build, critique, and refine everything from PRDs to slides to functional apps simultaneously. In this demo, I'm going to show you how I can build PostHog's 2026 roadmap in the next few minutes using Spine. So PostHog is this very popular analytics company. They have this very beautiful website, very popular in startups and stuff. We use it for our purposes as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste the website into Spine. So this is just going to generate a web block. It's going to go and extract sort of the relevant context of the website. I'm going to use that to then come up with a prompt block. Think of it as a single chat message, a single AI message here, where I'm going to copy paste this prompt that I already have. So I'm going to copy paste this prompt. So the prompt essentially says something like, what is PostHog? What is their two-line pitch? ICPs? Who were the direct and indirect competitors? List of features they probably have. Maybe the bets they probably want to make in 2026. Doing some very quick market analysis to understand the sort of things that they could sort of possibly build in 2026 year. Also go to web search. We'll just stick with, we have 300 plus AI models, but I'm going to stick with Gemini 3 Pro for this purposes. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit run. And there you go. So it starts streaming the response here. So it's giving you some context on what PostHog is. Again, some of the grounding is happening from the website. Some of the other stuff is finding on the web. So it's giving you some context on post, the two-line pitch, some context on what the ICPs are, competitors, direct and indirect competitors. So it's giving you amplitude, mixed panel, probably tools that you're probably familiar with, also links and stuff to go with it. You can also open this in full screen. You can also edit it as a human and save it if you like. It gives you some context on, like, again, going back to the thing, competitors, feature list they probably have, and then bets they probably want to make. So the big ones that they're recommending here is this AI agent thing, which I think they've also publicly called out, not only finding issues with recordings, but also trying to go and fix it. There's some consolidation bet, basically with the SaaS tool sprawl, so having one place for everything. And then there's some possible bet on customer infrastructure as well. So what I'm going to do here is go in one direction here to maybe go and extract the list of all the ICPs. So let's just do that, extract the list of all the ICPs. And so let's just do that. And the motivation of doing this is I want to go and come up with a digital twin persona for each of the ICPs. Again, with the goal of eventually critiquing any asset that we would come up with. It could be a demo, it could be a sales slide deck, it could be some prioritization decision. There you go. It's given us some context on the 3 or 4 sort of ICPs that PostHog could go after. And then instead of going after them one by one, I'm just going to mass apply a prompt to each of them. So I'm just going to go and say, oh, okay, let's just build digital twin persona for this. And then just going to say this, and then I'm just going to go and run this. And as you can see, what it's going to do in parallel, it's going to go and start generating a digital twin persona for each of those personas. So as you can see, it's going to stream in parallel. If you were doing this in linear thread, you couldn't do this because you couldn't branch. So we'll just let it finish here. So it's done. So as you can see, it's saying, like, as an example for this one, it's a product engineering persona, giving you some context on given the persona names, some core motivations, what their old way is, the PostHog way, some stack that they use, and the key jobs to be done, and some triggers on how to sell to this persona, which is great because we'll probably use this going forward. So this is good. We've gone and sort of we have this thing. Maybe we want to like organize this a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this up a little bit, convert this to a frame. Maybe we want to like use all the personas at the same time for something. So we could do that. And yeah, so this is sort of one branch and one rabbit hole that I've gone in. Maybe the other thing we can start doing now is why don't we just go and extract the bets that Gemini recommended here. So let's just go this direction. Let's just say extract all the bets that PostHog should make feature. Let's just say feature bets to focus ourselves a little bit that should make in 2026. So just again, this is going to give me a list, and then for each item in the list, I'm going to do something. So let's just see what it extracts here. Give it some context and some time. There you go. So it's giving you agentic AI, the consolidation bet, and the customer infrastructure bet, the things that sort of we looked at before. So what I'm going to do now is let's just move this down a little bit here, and then go and do a bulk action. Hit the prompt block, and then just say, give me a full. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. A full PRD for this feature bet, and so I'm going to go and hit run on this. And as you can see, just like we did for the ICPs, it's going to go and generate this content in parallel. So let's just let it do its thing. And it's done. For the PostHog Max agentic AI thing, it's giving you some standard PRD. We could have branched and added a template if you already had a template from your existing tools. But regardless, some generic way of looking at a PRD is giving you some exec summary on the problem, the solution, the why. Let me just open it up in full screen. The user stories, as you can imagine, functional bets that you want to make, non-functional requirements around it, KPIs, risk mitigations, and some go-to-market strategy. So this is good as a starting point. The same thing's happening for the consolidation bet and for the customer infrastructure bet. Maybe what we want to do is for each of them, let's just go and come up with like a demo flow. Like let's just say I'm going to do a bulk action on this prompt block. I'm just going to say, give me UX flow, a full UX flow that I can use to demo this internally to my stakeholders. Let's just say you want to like visualize how something like this could work in reality. So I'm just going to go and run this. So again, for each item, it's going to go and automatically take that as context and apply the prompt that I just had. So we'll just give it some time to finish and it's done. So let's see what it's done here. So specifically, let me just move this around a little bit just so it's a little bit easier to see. So it's giving me a UX flow for Max AI agent. Is giving you like how, like this is some new checkout flow that's happening, and it's giving you sort of the screens that you should probably have. So screen 1, screen 2, phase 2 is investigation, phase 3 is resolution, and so on and so forth. So giving you some flow around it. We could, if we wanted to, keep iterating in the context of this specific block, if you like, we can also just come up with variations and look at what other models would have given us in this specific context. But for the context of this demo, I'm just going to keep we just assume that this is a good enough UX flow for convincing our internal stakeholders. The same things happen for sort of the consolidation bet as well. And the same things happen for the golden record, which is the customer infrastructure bet as well. So what I'm going to do now is, why don't we just go and try to make a quick prototype out of this? So for that, what I'm actually going to do is, I'm actually going to grab, let me just find a screenshot of sort of the PostHog today, just so this is our internal Spine AI PostHog. I'm just going to go and why don't we just prompt an image block to get the color palette out of this. So let's just say, give me a color palette of all the colors from light to dark, just so I can come up with demos that look sort of similar. So I'm just going to go ahead and generate. This is going to use Nano Banana Pro. So again, I've taken a screenshot, uploaded that screenshot, and it's going to go and generate a color palette for us. And there you go. It's giving us a color palette. This is cool. I mean, we could have in theory imported this from Figma if we were at PostHog, but I'm not at PostHog. But this is great because I can use this as a color palette. So what I'm going to do now is for each of them, I'm going to go and say, let's move this on a little bit here. Let's just say bulk action. Let's just go and come up with a prototype. Move this here. Let's connect the color palette. And then let's just say here, give me a fully functioning prototype for, I think I'm just going to say for the parent block to show this to my team, and then use add color palette. And then I'm just going to change this to Opus 4.5 because I know those tend to do a little bit better for something like this. And then I'm just going to go and run the block. So if I zoom out here, while it's running the prototypes, I think instead of waiting for it, I think the benefit of this being an infinite canvas is we can go down another rabbit hole on the other end. So this is interesting. So let me just arrange this a little bit better here. So I'm just going to move things around and move this around here. But let's just say for the Max agent, we actually want to also make a new landing page for something like this. So why don't we just go down this direction while that's doing its thing? And then let's just say, I want a landing page. I'm going to copy the website again, just so I can say, try to be as close to this thing as possible. So I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to say, make a new waitlist landing page for this. Follow design principles web link. And let's just say I know Gemini 3 tends to do a little bit better for websites. So I'm just going to go run this. And then while that's running, what I'm going to do is, why don't we just go from this thing? Let's just say you wanted to make an internal case for this. So let's just say, let's go down this direction, do a prompt block. And let's just say, give me a slide deck to make a case of this to my exec team. So now, again, you're branching from that same Max agent thing, and it's going to come up and give you sort of the skeleton of a slide deck that you can then use to come up with the actual slides. So let's just wait and see what it does. And it's done. So it's given us some context on the slide deck. It's saying title slide, problem, solution, strategic context, core capability, success criteria. Cool. So standard stuff that you would need to sort of make a pitch of this internally to your exec team. And then in Spine itself, you can just be like, okay, fine. What is it? 9 slides. Let's just say 9 slides here. And I can just say, give me a clean slide deck for this. And I'm just going to hit run and let it do its thing. And there you go. It's done. So if you open this up here, this is a PowerPoint, so you can download and adjust anything around it. So it's giving you some slide deck around it, some high level get autonomous agent, market standards, three loads, one AI, measuring success, safety first. So it's just taken what we had here and sort of the skeleton, and it's sort of giving you some slide deck as a starting point to begin with. Now you can control what that slide deck looks like. You can keep editing it in Spine itself. You can also use this as context to go come up with another slide deck. But it's a good enough starting point for now for showing this to your exec team and making a case on why we should build the agentic AI. So why don't we just go back to sort of the landing page here. So this is where, as you can see, this is sort of the PostHog landing page. This is the landing page that for the waitlist as an example, a starting point on what it's come up with. Let's just open this up in full screen. As you can see, it looks very similar to the PostHog original landing page. It's giving you some context on this font that's very similar. It doesn't look like a Claude only generated, Gemini only generated website, some sort of the web starting point of the website. I didn't use the color palette here, but the idea is you could have used the color palette and it would have grounded the colors as well. It's giving you some information on some demo on like what it looks like, more than a chatbot. It's giving you some sort of examples of like it's an analyst agent, it's SRE agent, DevOps, again, grounding a little bit into the PRD as well, the why, and then some way to sign up for the waitlist. And if you need, you can just look at the code and use it for whatever you like, or you can also go and just keep iterating on the same thing in the context of this block here. So if I go back here, that's the website. And then why don't we just go and look at sort of the actual demos that it's come up with. So based on sort of the UX flow demos, we have sort of three things happening here, the three demos that I've come up with. As you can see, the colors here are actually sort of grounding in the color palette that I came up with. So if you go down here, let's just look at the Max UX demo. So this giving you some context on like the demo. There's some ability to reset the demo here. You can go next. Oh, it's giving you like anomaly detected. So something happening here, error spike. I guess cool. So if you open this up, it's giving you Max AI agent mode. It's looking at sort of what's happening, coming up with the incident report, similar to like what a Claude code would do in this demo. So it's doing its thing. I can go to the next. So it's going to find like, here's the issue. It's causing null reference exception on iOS devices. It's like, okay, cool. It's giving you, it's done and found its sort of source of the error. The SRE agent has watched 50 replays. Here are 3 where user crashed after clicking pay now. I was like, cool. It's giving you 3 sources of potential issues here. And then it's giving you the recommended action. You can go and approve the rollback. It's going to go and actually execute the rollback. And again, all this happened with that one prompt with the color palette and one prompt on the UX flow. So it's giving you this entire full-fledged functioning demo as you can look at it, which is pretty cool. It also helps you visualize sort of some things in terms of like, instead of you being bottlenecked on like a UX person, or you being bottlenecked on design, or you being bottlenecked on engineering, you're able to do and visualize some of these things in the context of the same canvas, which is your sort of thinking space here. This is sort of the other demo, which is where it's the consolidation. So let's look at what it's doing here. It's giving you some information on sort of like the metrics that you have in PostHog. Again, very similar to what PostHog looks like, which is pretty cool. So it's now giving you the phase 2. It's giving you the checkout rollout as the culprit. It's sort of finding the issues across different tools. As I saying another tool here, it goes to the next thing, find the session replays that are matching, go to the next thing, pay now, checkout flow is enabled, and then sort of based on this, something is happening. So again, it's a demo that it's come up with for that specific thing. And then if you look at this one, the golden record, normally to get revenue data to usage, we need Fivetran and Snowflake. So this is basically how you could do it in Post itself. So again, it gives you some way to go and sort of, we didn't have to manually tag this user VIP. It automatically figured out, because of the way things are connected, that this is sort of a high value customer. And then based on that, you can go and build a query. And then based on that, you can go and watch the replays, but you don't have to watch all the replays. You only have to watch the replays of the people that matter from a financial standpoint. And if that's the thing that you're optimizing for. And then based on that, you can also come up with sort of the SQL query to sort of find these people and then give you sort of some results. And also maybe if you want, you can do analytics and stuff as well. So there you go. I think what's interesting here is we've gone from essentially 3 single bets to a fully functioning demo. Maybe one thing we could also do here is, let's just say for this specific one, we can say like, okay, this is cool, but like, can we critique this from the perspective of product manager, I think is, product engineer persona, and make recommendations on the flow based on that. Well, let's run. There you go. So now let's see what it's done here. So Alex, who's a product engineer persona, is going to give us some perspective, what it likes, what he doesn't like. In this case, it's giving you like step by step, like what their reaction is for each step. And so the critique for each step, and then actual recommendations on how to improve it. And the beauty of Spine is that you can just take this, you can connect it to the next prototype block, and you can just say something like improve let's just say the Max UX demo using Alex's critique. And I can just say keep the rest of the design and flow the same. And let's go and do Opus. This is still Opus. Go and hit run. And it's done. So it's found the error. We can go to the next step. It's going to do similar things. But again, now at every point, it's going to go and actually implement the things that the critique had called out. Otherwise, as we called out, it's also going to follow the same steps that like it did in the past. It's going to look very similar as well. But as I said, it's doing a lot more things here, which it done before. So there you go. It's giving you an incident report. It finds the incident report, gives you the context. The SRE agent looks at the replays. The analyst agent gives you sort of the queries that it's running, the code context around it. Then it gives you sort of the recommended action. And then if you approve the thing, then it goes and rolls back sort of the code around it. And there you go. And it's sort of giving you sort of the postmortem, the error recovery rate, and the incident resolve. So yeah, as you can imagine, this is very, very useful for someone who is trying to come up with different variations of prototypes, understand sort of the trade-offs, understand what the UX could look like, and doing all that by grounding it in sort of what the existing product line looks like. So to summarize, Spine is an infinite canvas where you think in intelligent blocks instead of being stuck in linear threads. And in this demo, what I've done is I went from simply just PostHog's website, using that as some grounding mechanism to understand PostHog, get a two-line pitch on it, some ICPs, competitors, direct and indirect competitors, features they have and features they probably should build going forward. And then I've branched in different directions. So one direction I've taken is I've captured all the ICPs, and for each ICP, I've come up with sort of the digital twin persona for each of them. And then in the other direction, what I've done is I've taken all the bets that this one model has recommended. It doesn't have to be a model recommended thing. We have integrations with things like Linear, Jira, Confluence. This could have all been grounded in that if we had access to PostHog's, Linear, or Jira, whatever tool that they use. But the idea is that we've extracted the features. For each of them, we came up with sort of the PRD. And then for each PRD, we came up with a UX flow that makes sense. Used a screenshot because we use PostHog, the tool looks like, got a color palette, got the prototypes for the three bets that we should probably be making. And then for one of them, I went and critiqued it with the product engineering persona, got the recommended next steps on how to improve the prototype, and then just quickly pipe that to the next thing. And while that was happening, in the other side, what I also did is I went from the PRG for the Max agent, took the existing website and came up with sort of the landing page for what could be a waitlist for PostHog Max. And then in another branch, what I did is I took the PRD, came up with sort of the slide deck skeleton for like how they could present this to the exec team and convince them of building them this, and then use that and pipe that to sort of a slide block to get a slide as a starting point. And there you go. I did essentially all this work in a few minutes instead of using multiple tools. It's all happening in Spine. Give it a shot and let us know what you'll be using Spine for in 2026. Thank you.